folks. Welcome to what would be week 7, but we're really restarting the clock this week. So this is week 1 of the new semester. So welcome to the head drawing class. In this class, we're going to be lapping back around ourselves to what we studied when we first started this class, which is the Andrew Loomis head, which is this guy that, if you have been following up to this point, you should be able to do a reasonable amount of Loomis heads just out of your head at this point. For those who are new to this method, welcome, and I will be giving a demo of how to do these, and then we will be doing a lot of these during this class together. Well, we'll be using mainly some drawing tools on Sketchfab, which I have a folder that I'm going to be sharing in chat with everyone. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing timed head poses and quick sketch and stuff from the Andrew Loomis head lay-ins. We'll do slower and longer ones and stuff. And we will, excuse me one second. Just making sure I'm logged in on Sketchfab so I can get the folder for everyone. But Sketchfab is a 3D modeling site, and they have a lot of art reference stuff there. It's handy tools for artists. So I'm going to put that on my reference screen shortly. Also, you may notice, here in 1 second, maybe got to get rid of this. So, oops. Oopsie doopsie. Why isn't wallpaper background? Desktop wallpaper. Where's wallpaper engine? I want to get rid of this. Give me a second, ladies and gents. I've got to crash a program. It's fucking things up for me. Damn it. Okay, where's wallpaper engine? Fuck it. Let's throw this over here. Okay, hopefully it'll get rid of it. Yeah, got rid of it during full screen. Good. Alright, okay, so this is the folder that we're going to be using. I have a collection of head drawing reference in Sketchfab, which you can use as a study aid. I'm going to be making one for figure drawing because I'm going to be teaching figure drawing stuff later this week. I think on Friday. Yeah, Friday. And so I'll copy this into chat because this has the tools we're going to be using today. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be grabbing some of these that some people here are already familiar with, but we'll be making Loomis heads out of them. We will also be using the Loomis head reference that's in here, like this one and this one right here, which is functionally a Loomis head. But also I want to challenge people with putting stuff like this on and letting them try to break down a Loomis head out of some of these. So yeah, I'll copy paste this in the folder in chat here, and copy paste the folder in Discord also. Let's see here. Discord. Here we go. That's from chat. There we go. Also, for anyone who is... Hang on one sec, I gotta unmute myself. Alright, so for anyone who's just joining us, please go to my Twitch so you can watch what's going on for the chat, for the class, and my demos and stuff, because I'm not going to be streaming to the classroom. So, what we'll be doing right now is I'm going to do I'm going to bring up one of these on screen real quick, and then I'm going to show how to do a Loomis head out of one of these. So at random, I can pick any old model. I can use it as a point of reference to create a Loomis head. So let's see, what's a good one? Let's use this. It's pretty simple. This probably will work the best, I would say. Yeah, this is a very nice full screen, if you say so. Okay, so Tricky. Actually, I think I should use the actual Loomis head thing for this. I think that would work a little better. Taskbar is behaving funky. Alright, so we got ourselves a Loomis head right here that we're going to be using as a point of reference. So the basic structure of a Loomis head, if you start with a sphere for the base of the head. So we're going to be looking at this Loomis head straight on to us right here. You start with essentially a basic sphere like that. Actually, try to make a cleaner sphere here. You start with a clean sphere like that. Then you chop off the sides of it, sort of like what the model has done. Try to get maybe about. I'll measure out here just so I can make sure I'm getting roughly equal lengths and sides of this thing. So I'm not going to erase that just yet, but essentially like you would normally erase those sides off. Alright, so then, next step, is you create a center line right down the middle like that. And then you try to find where the brow, about where the hairline on this thing is. I would guesstimate it's about here. With this in mind, you cut halfway across the sphere like that. You measure this right here from the hairline to this. This is the brow line. This is the hairline right here. And use that as your first measurement of a rule of thirds. So, use this same measurement here to find the bottom of the nose. Should be about here-ish. Particularly the way I drew this one. Same thing, you can use the next third to find the bottom of the chin. Now for the sides of the cheeks, get a couple of angles on the sides here coming off this spot where you chopped off the sides of the head there. And then like roughly about like, let's say about like a third of the way up, somewhere about here would be like the corner of the jaw. And that is essentially your front view Loomis head right here. You can also bow these inward a little bit, like do something like this. That's a little bit more like how a skull is. The skull behaves. But this is essentially the basic construction of a Loomis head from the front. Now the next step would be to do the profile of the Loomis head, and I'll do a quick demo of that. So we'll move this guy into profile view here. So, start with the same thing. Start with the sphere. In fact, let's measure down here. Get like roughly the same head, kind of. Try to get a sphere in here. So in case you're wondering why my screen is vertical, I'm trying a new way of doing demos right now, which is I'm tilted my 22 HD Cintiq in portrait mode. So it's like it's right resting on my lap, and I get a really nice drawing angle as if I'm in like a figure drawing class. Oh, it's not the same head size, it's a little squished, I would say. So maybe let's beef that out a little bit and erase some of it. I'm not looking for perfection here, I'm just looking to get like the basic idea of this thing down. So you can go for better spheres than I'm drawing here, but it's not really necessary unless it's not really necessary unless if you get it like in the ballpark enough to work as a tool for establishing a head. Alright, so next step on this, if you make another sphere inside the sphere. Like right in the middle of it, because this is like straight on, dead on. In fact, let's like measure about halfway through here. Halfway through here. So now we know where the top of the head is, right there. And now we know where the brow line is, there. On this Loomis head. So you get another sphere inside the sphere, or the another ellipse inside the sphere. Also, full disclosure, I'm coming back super rusty right now because I spent all weekend, well not all weekend, but all Sunday and today setting up my computer. So this is, it's a good, and I decided deliberately not to do warm-ups beforehand for this because I wanted to make sure everything was running, and also because we're doing something that is an excellent way to get back into drawing after taking a break. Starting with like the bare bones basics. So, alright, so now that you have this, what you can do, in order to find the hairline, you can cut diagonally across here, kind of wrap this line over here, over the sphere bit. Now you know where the hairline is. Now you can measure out to here, and you find your first third. You can measure that now, find a second third. You measure that, find your third third. Oops. It's like an eyedropper by accident. I'm gonna have to set up my Clip Studio stuff a little better on this new computer. Alright. So now we know where the bottom of the chin is. So now we can drop a curvy, S-curvy line right here. It's kind of the rhythm of the face on this Loomis head. In addition to that, we can drop this kind of curvy line about here-ish, I want to say, for like the bottom of the chin. And then, if you want to find the angle of the back of the jaw, a good way to do that is to use the back of the skull here and do that. So there's your basic profile view of a Loomis head. It's got a little marker for the nose there, a marker for the eye. Now, next one is where it gets a little tricky, and that's the three-quarter view. So the reason why it gets tricky, of course, is it's a little tough to wrap your head around what happens when a sphere gets its side chopped off. Fortunately, the angle we're going to be drawing at, you don't have to worry about that, because it's at such an angle that it doesn't really affect the overall shape of the sphere. let's see. I'm not going for perfection and like trying to make these like perfect heads, but I want to like kind of practice getting them in the ballpark of being roughly about the same size as each other for the purposes of this little demonstration here. Alrighty, so we got a nice 3/4 head started. Start the same way as the other ones. We start with a sphere. Move my arm here a little bit, maybe to get a better ellipse going. All right, and then take a look at our reference here. You can cut across halfway across here the sphere, and then you kind of approximate like putting another ellipse inside of here. Maybe like somewhere around the halfway point is where it touches here. Let's try to get a nice even ellipse in there. Let me check this real quick. This is a little top heavy or bottom heavy the way I drew this, so maybe move the center line down just a tad. Alright, and then you can cut across this with a halfway line, like so. And then you can use that trick I showed on the profile view, creating a diagonal line on the side plane of the head there. But then because this is in 3D, you're going to wrap it in a curve over the sphere. Like pretend almost like if the side wasn't chopped off, you'd be curving it around like that. In addition to that, you can use this over here and do the same thing, and you can roughly find about where the top of the head is, like somewhere around here-ish. Which would be really handy because then you can use that to find kind of the somewhere around about the center point. Center line would be probably somewhere here-ish, I want to say. Maybe should be a little bit. My instinct is telling me maybe it should be here, even though that's like not quite what the reference looks like. Just for the purposes of how I feel that this should be drawn. So you can use that, and you drop down here, give yourself a little bit of a measuring drop line, basically. And then this is where it starts to get a little tricky. You can extrude your thirds off here and do your thirds again. Find the bottom of the nose and the bottom of the chin. Then, because this is in 3/4, now the way that you hit those sides of the face and the jaw, you have to pay a little bit more attention. So what you can do is you can use the back angle of the head again, kind of find the jaw a bit. And then you use the side planes here. Of the head, like so. Kind of curve in there a little bit, kind of approximating here where I think the sides of the chin should go. Let's check something real quick. So the jaw should actually be more like this. Something seems a bit off about this. Let me think for a little bit. I think it might have something to do with the angle width of the jaw, the way I did it. But this is the basic idea of this. And anyway, we're going to be practicing a lot of these this evening. So get your pencils ready if you haven't already been taking notes with hand-drawn notes or whatever. Maybe it's the bottom of the chin needs to come down a little further. That might be it. Maybe it was throwing me off here. Yeah, it's feeling a little better now. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm also going to use this because we're going to be practicing at different angles of the limbus head. We're going to be practicing the three main ones that we just showed: at front, profile, three-quarter. But we're also going to practice up, down, weird angles, irregular angles that are like three-quarter, where more of the side plane of the head is chopped off, and so on. This is a really useful tool right here because this can help you wrap your head around how the side planes of the head get cut. This is very similar to how a human skull is structured here, which we will also take a look at today because I want you to start seeing the limbus heads inside of other images of heads or other heads that you see even in real life. Like, I want you to be able to look at this and kind of understand where the limbus head occurs, and you can see like the side planes of the skull are chopped off here, essentially, if this were a sphere of this simplified skull. Like, that's not, this is a simplified anatomy skull, by the way, a planar skull, basically. So it's not a real skull, but it's a stylized one that's handy for art study. I want to maybe use some of the Asaro head, which is actually what my donation goal is right now. I am currently trying to save up enough money to buy a real edge one of these guys right here, which I will be using in the course of my head drawing classes. So I should actually give a plug real quick to my Ko-fi page before I forget. Alrighty, so this is my Ko-fi. I'll bring that up on screen real quick. So this is my Ko-fi page. I'm currently working towards a goal of $120 to buy a limbus head, which is one of those figure model heads that I was showing. We studied actually those last week, and I want to buy a physical version of one of those so that I can photograph it for class, and also so I can study it, so I can break it down a lot better for teaching it in the class. They're excellent drawing tools. I would strongly recommend picking up one of them yourself. If you want to order one of them, they are on a site called planesofthehead.com, which I'll bring up on screen here. This is the site. This is the head that I want to order. It's $115. I've added $5 in case of like sales tax or whatever. But yeah, the original head. It's an excellent, excellent drawing tool. I highly recommend. I've practiced from real life before, and it's a great, great way to wrap your head around how the head works. If you notice about this, the reason why it looks different on each side is, well, one side is more simplified and has more feminine features. The other side is more like It is more detailed and has more masculine features. So it's kind of like an artist's whole meal in terms of like breaking down how the planes of the head work. Yeah, this guy also sells some planar figures here, and he also sells this one, which we studied before, which is the simplified memorization head, which is also included in the folder, a 3D model of this. It's also known as the simple limbus head. He's also got more realistic sculpts here, and this thing right here, which is it's called the simple Asaro head. I'm sorry, not the simple limbus head, but it's got this thing right here, which is a really, really simplistic head. It's about as simple as you can get. But yeah, I strongly recommend picking up one of these, and I think the memorization head is $65. I'd personally just go straight into getting the original one, because the original one you can get a lot more out of it, but it's worth having one of these too. I probably might get one of these eventually as well. I can't speak to how good or bad his figures are. They look pretty good. I've definitely seen some really good ones that I probably could recommend of these, and I might of like art reference figures. Someone asked me if I could do an art reference demo over the top of a photograph. Sure. I mean, I can do that. I would do that on my screen while people are drawing from the timed drawings on the right. So let's see here. But anyway, yeah. If you want to help me make my donation goal, getting a John Asaro head, so that I can practice from it and that I can photograph it for class, then please give me your donations on the support page here, which I've linked in chat, and there's the address up there. But yeah, so there's that. But yeah, what we're gonna do now is I think I'm gonna shift back and forth between some of these. We're going to take a very short break so I can hit the restroom and hydrate. But what we're going to do for the next 2.5 hours is we're going to be drawing blocks of about 25-minute periods with 5-minute breaks. And it's basically a head drawing class now. This is you coming to the art gym to practice. I'll have my drawing demos on the left here on screen, and so you can see what I'm drawing and what I'm studying, what I'm struggling with as I'm trying to get back in the groove, because I'm going to be making mistakes too. I'm here to study along with the rest of you. Like, I'm trying to learn this stuff and get better at it with all of you. So we'll be getting our artwork out from the model head on the right, or whatever model head I'm going to use, or whatever photograph. I will probably warm us up with some I want to say maybe about 3 to 5 minutes poses, and then we'll take a 5-minute break after about 25 minutes of that, and that's what it's going to be like for the rest of the 3-hour total class for the next 2.5 hours. Someone asked, they are pretty expensive per head. Why is that? Well, because they're extremely well made. That's why. They're durable. It's an artistic tool that will last you a lifetime. You'll be using it for your lifetime too. I mean, the guys who originally taught me how to use that thing, they've been using it ever since they started, and they're still using it today. And they'll be able to use it like when they're trying to solve problems in like the fine art and illustration stuff work that they do. Like, if they will either photograph it in different lighting conditions, or they will have it handy nearby to look at, or they'll practice from it every now and then to get them, if they are feeling themselves getting pretty rusty at head drawing. Could you move the 3 heads you drew to fit the screen, please? That's going to be tricky. Because I have my monitor in portrait mode right now. Do you mean that like this? Yeah. Keep in mind, there's some wonky stuff going on with this because I think I think how I have it I have this tablet set up currently. It's a little bit cockeyed. I'm gonna have to go through an adjustment period in using this thing and on the new computer. So my drawings are going to be a little even more wonky than they would be, even with me being out of practice from spending the weekend setting up the new computer. Anyway, we're going to start after about we're going to start in about 5 minutes or so. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, raise volume to 80%. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 4 minutes and 53 seconds left.
All right, folks. So it's going to be a very short break, and then we'll get back then we'll get started on our head drawing. I'm going to actually put this guy. Let me just preempt that by picking which of these we're going to be using to start with. I think we should just start with what I showed at the beginning demo of the class. We'll start with this guy right here. So if anyone wants to cheat and start drawing the straight-on view of the Loomis head, they're welcome to. Also, one other thing, if you want to see like how Andrew Loomis actually draws these heads, you can use the link that I'm posting in the chats to get a .rar file that you can unzip that has like public domain versions of Andrew Loomis's figure drawing and head drawing books, and in that he shows how to draw how to construct the Loomis head. I think it's like the head and hand drawing book that he really goes over that. But yeah, Loomis head. But like a Google image search for Loomis heads will show examples of them. Like Proco's YouTube page has like really good demos of these heads. Let's see here. I think this is actually the Loomis head right here from the book. Right there. In fact, I may actually put this on as our first image. I think that might be a good idea. Or some of the other stuff that's in the book. His head drawing book. But yeah, I'm going to leave it up there and I'm going to go hit the restroom. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
1 minute and 5 seconds to go.
You heard her. So taking things to simplicity is going to be what the name of the game is for this session. We're getting reacquainted with the Lumised if you've done my classes before, and if you haven't, welcome. This is the starting point, and everything you do in this class from here on is going to be building off basically this. So your homework this week is going to be practicing a lot of these and practicing them every day, if possible. So let's see here. Maybe we can find a good image here from the actual Lumis book. Okay, Google, stop. That's nice. Well, that's lovely. That's from the Croco stuff. I would definitely recommend checking out Croco's stuff on Lumiseds later. But I want to see if I can find some Lumis stuff on here that we can just copy from. So like one of the things that I want you doing throughout this week for homework is to actually use the Andrew Lumis books that I linked in chat. And you maybe print out pages of like the heads and stuff and start copying the heads. So let's see here. Let's have us start with this. Hopefully this isn't too scary for people. So we're not going to be drawing exactly this, but we're going to be using the construction method I just showed off of how to build one of these. Like the goal here is you're not copying, you're constructing. So don't worry, I'll walk this through people. I'll walk this through people for that. I'll walk people through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to set a timer for the individual poses, but we'll move on to the next one as I kind of walk through them and do more of these. These are Lumis head drills. Just try to do your best. You can even screenshot the screen if you need it, or open the same sketch fab I'm using and use reference from it for this. But I'm going to set the timer now. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, and we're starting now.
Alright, here we go. So we're going to be at this for the next 25 minutes. I'm going to draw really big, because I want to loosen up my arm. I'm going to put on some public domain synthwave in a little bit. Actually, if anyone has any royalty-free music they can suggest, please link it in the Discord chat. I can already tell that this drawing's looking a little cockeyed. Maybe want to rotate that a bit. Because I'm not used to drawing at this angle. I think I've gotten used to compensating for drawing at a weird angle. I'm going to have to break that. Fortunately, a class like this would be really helpful for that. But yeah, if you can post a royalty-free music list in chat, that would help me a lot. Preferably one from YouTube instead of like Spotify or something, so I can control that a little better. So the goal of this is that you will like practice the method a lot to the point that you can kind of like do these from memory and do these on your own. It's supposed to be a tool that you use that you're able to play with. And I'll show a few additions you can add to your Lumis heads as we go through these to kind of add more indications of like features and other things. which is almost kind of a preview of where we're going to be moving in the coming weeks. Is Come 5 Beats, Hobo, is that royalty-free stuff? Alright, well we'll give it a shot then. And I will stab you if that is not the case. Oh geez, there's not very much on offer there. I was hoping for like a station or something. Is there like a lo-fi beats royalty-free station I can use? Okay, folks, just remember, if you ever get lost on these, you can always reorient yourself. So, remember, you start with a sphere. You chop off the sides of the sphere. Do a center line for measurement right here. You approximate roughly where the brow would be, or roughly where the hairline would be. Cut across halfway through the sphere right here, and now you know where your brow line, to hairline first third is. Use that to measure and find where the bottom of the nose is. Use the next one to find where the bottom of the chin is. And that now you have an average measured head. Or generically measured head. Like, everyone's head is proportioned differently, but this is like a orientation tool for you to keep proportions of the head. And mind you, like the eye line, the actual line of the eyes, you measure, to find that, you measure from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin, and you cut across the whole thing. The halfway point is the actual eye line. Like on this, for example, here, I'll do this in blue to kind of show it off. Oh, there we go, Hobo. Alright, I'll give that a shot. Hobo is, for those of you watching on Twitch, is someone in Discord and classroom chat. There we go. Alright, that works. Beauty. Cool. So now we have beats. Alright, okay Google, how much time left on the timer?
T-minus 19 minutes and 44 seconds.
Oh, we spent about 6 minutes on this straight on right here. But I'm going to slow it down just a little bit because I want to show off a few other things you can add to this. If you start feeling comfortable with doing Lego sets. So look at that. We got like full measurement of the whole thing. We cut roughly about halfway through it, right there. That's our eye line. Now that's roughly about where the eyes are going to be. And in addition to that, you can kind of construct a little indication of the brow. All you need for this is just like some little diagonal lines here and here. And you put like a little center point there. You don't need much more than that. And the next thing you can do is, okay, so you got this and this right here, right? So you divide the length here up into thirds. So this is about a third, that's about a third. So something like that. I messed that up. Well, what you can do is you can kind of approximate where like the end points of the eye would be, somewhere about here-ish. Then you measure basically another eye length right here in the center. That gives you the position of the proportion by which the eyes are spaced out. So that's just a little something. That's optional. Do stuff like that. So I'm going to move on to a profile view. So I'm going to shift it to side view. We're going to do a profile view now. Let's move that to a folder. Alright, so So, same deal. Start with a sphere. Really clunky sphere here. Do another sphere inside the sphere. Cut across a halfway point here. Cut across halfway here. Up. Instead of following the reference, I'm going to flip it because I know how to build these. So I got roughly about my hairline somewhere over here-ish. I'm going to build off more of this because this is kind of a lumpy circle that I drew. These studies don't have to be perfect as long as you... the music isn't loud in comparison to your voice. I think you're right about that. I think it's because I put a gain filter on the voice, on the mic, but on the music, but not my voice. I'm going to fix that right now. So let me know if it's too loud or too soft. Let's try this a bit. Alright, so I put a gain filter on my microphone on Twitch. So it should work a little better now. Alright. One thing I want to solve this week, hopefully, is like you can hear the fan in the background here. I really need a fan on because it gets roasting hot in this room that I'm in. But I want to figure out some way to set it up so like the fan gets noise canceled or the fan isn't as much of an issue. Let me know if the fan is annoying to people, though. Alright, so got my brow line to my... Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
14 minutes and 38 seconds to go.
Oh, good, we got plenty of time. And we can take it slow on these, because we're just still getting warmed up in the groove on this. So, for those who are new to my classes, I teach free classes through YouTuber Ethan Becker's official Discord. I do these for free, but I do accept donations, and the donations help me run the classes better and upgrade my ability to do these classes. If you'd like to support me, you can do that through my Ko-fi link, which is in the stream donation links below, and on my Twitch page, and you can also support me if you have a Prime sub, or if you want to subscribe to me on Twitch, or send me bits, or whatever else. Monetization works through Twitch. That also will, every little bit counts. Alright, so I got my little profile head here. Maybe play with it a bit more. Let's see what I can add to it. So, one thing I do know is that the measurement of the ears on these heads, and we'll get more into this stuff in the future too, is about here. Like the top and the bottom of the ear measurement is roughly the same as the top of the brow to the bottom of the nose. The nose is going to be something like this. In its most simple shape. The brow is going to be a little bit like that. The tooth cylinder is going to be using a little bit of stuff that we've gone over in previous classes. I'm going to kind of make a little ball for an approximation of where I think the ellipse are. Without going too far into it, because I'm out of practice right now. I don't want to kind of lean into stuff that I'm feeling shaky on at the moment. I want to take things back to basics so I can place my features properly. If you want to, too, you can add a simple C-curve for the neck, like kind of what I'm doing. It's like we won't get into neck anatomy just yet, but something to just kind of place the head and the neck. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
11 minutes and 31 seconds remaining.
Nice. Alright, so I'm going to shift it to a 3/4 view. We're going to do 3/4 on the other side this time. Well, also, I have access to Photoshop again, so I'm going to be starting to use that in the future, but I still love Clip Studio a lot, and I'm going to be using them both. But I have a lot of muscle memory built up in Photoshop, so it's nice to return to that. Hopefully I can maybe get a hold of my brushes. Trying to figure out what my next donation goal is going to be after the Lewis heads. I'm thinking, with the Asara head, I'm thinking I might, there's either some traditional or digital drawing tool things that might help me, but I'll figure that out. What are you using the 3D model the Lewis method? That is a site called Sketchfab. If you're in the Discord, I posted a link to it already. I'll link it after we get done with this little session here, so I can share the folder that I have all of these in. Yeah, I mean the thing about methods like this is like you can kind of rely on them as something to fall back to. There's a starting point, and there's something to kind of fall back into if you feel yourself kind of losing your balance in your drawing. There's tools like these also for figure drawing and other things as well. So these are supposed to be relaxing. You're supposed to kind of take these at your own pace. And then you can start playing with them. The thing about these is these are going to be the foundation of the other heads we're going to be, the more advanced heads we're going to be doing in future sessions. So this is a good time to refresh and refocus and recenter on this stuff for those who've done this before. And if you haven't, then this is an excellent starting point. So I would hope folks show up next week, because we're going to be building on the next phase of this. The next week we're going to be doing the human skull, which will involve a lot of observational drawing. And it sounds like a crazy amount of complexity. Don't worry. We will get to a simpler thing to draw the week after. Getting exposed to how the human skull actually works early on and trying to draw a real thing is really important. Am I allowed to send them in Twitch? Probably not. I'll link it. I'll link it in Twitch during. Oops. I'll link it in Twitch later. Yeah, this isn't a race. You can take these slow, especially in this starting half-hour thing. So use it to kind of gauge yourself and your ability to measure things. I kind of need it because I'm really off kilter with my pencil right now. I don't think that brown line is quite right. Maybe up there-ish. Better. I've got a personal project I gotta focus on this week. I've got a couple walk cycles I gotta finish up for a short film of student work from our animation class of everyone's walk cycles. So I'm gonna be working on character walks tomorrow for my project thing that I've got to be working on. I don't know if I'll stream those though. If I do, it's not going to be a class. I'll talk over them or something and answer people's questions about animation or whatever. Or I'll just hang out in the Discord, probably in the animation corner section. Will we do facial expressions in the future? Yes. But we're going over the basic construction of the head again right now. I want to start from zero. I was thinking of moving into facial features today, but I think starting from zero again would be best right now. But we'll see. I'm gonna maybe try to offer something in the future. Like if I get a lot of head portrait reference stuff that we can use, I want to use those as a way for people to practice features and other things if they want to get more into that, if they're more advanced, so that you can do the basics stuff that I'm going over, or you can, if you are more advanced, you can do more advanced stuff, and just use this time as drawing time. Okay, Google, how much time left on the timer?
T-minus 4 minutes and 42 seconds.
Very nice. So I think we're going to do some unusual head angles here. Let's pick one that's really interesting. Let's try an overhead kind of look right there. You know, there's a different type of Luna's head that I think has the side things of the cheeks coming off of it that I've seen on the Sketchfab site. Let's see if I can find one of those a little bit later for the next session. But for now, you can kind of visualize where the chin kind of connects up here with that side plane. Music is just a bit loud. Okay, well, let me try reducing the gain on desktop audio. Yeah, it is loud. It's getting way up there. There we go. It's reduced a little bit. I'm gonna have to gradually adjust my mic levels and so on over time. Alright, I'm gonna take a crack at this 3/4. I'm thinking of a crazy donation goal of getting if people would be willing to donate, I could put up some kind of like crazy donation goal for like a much bigger Cintiq than the one I have now, or like one of the new, like, I think XP Pen put out like a 24-inch 1440p display recently. Oof. And it's like getting really good reviews by people who review art tablet displays. That would be really tempting to save up for, and it's not that expensive. It's like $800, I think. So it's a little bit more doable. I would prefer to get a Cintiq because I'm used to how Wacom's pens handle, but those are really expensive. But I'm going to be needing another drawing display because I have two computers that I can do stuff on now, and I'd like to move them into different rooms in the house that I live in, so that if I want to do stuff in one room one day, I can do stuff in one room or move into another room. I was thinking of getting a portable tablet display actually, so I might go for that before I go for a bigger upgrade to my current one. Get like a 15-inch tablet display. Like the Huion ones that seem to be good at pretty good price from what I've seen. Like $400, I think. Although I think it's not too much more to get a Cintiq 15-inch or whatever. So you notice I'm doing this kind of, my muscle memory is starting to set in a little bit, so I'm kind of doing this without really measuring out everything exactly. Because I've done lots of Luma sets before. So I can somewhat kind of approximate where stuff is a little bit. And again, it's not really going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be for this. What's the difference between a Cintiq Pro and a Cintiq? I'd need to look at the stats. But I think the Cintiq Pro is like 4K resolution, which is ridiculous. Like I do not need a 4K drawing display, at least for my purposes. I'm an animator, and actually most illustrators don't even need a 4K display. You're just fine with a 1080p display. Anything about 1080p for drawing tablet displays is kind of a luxury buy. With some exceptions, like if you do very specialized work that requires this really high resolution, that's great. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. Alright, we are now on break for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Starting now.
Good lord. For the record, I have the XP Pen Artist 24 Pro, says Raboos in the Twitch chat. Yeah, how do you like it? I've heard good things about it, although I've heard that there are some pen performance issues. That seems more like a driver's thing that needs to be ironed out over time. Hopefully XP Pen will be responsive to that. Of course, fortunately, the kind of work I do, I don't really need precision. I don't really need absolute precision. Yeah. How do you like it overall, Raboots, by the way? The first unit had this odd issue with the calibration in the top area, but there's some weird desync with the curve. Yeah, I've heard about that. The edges of the display seem to have weird desync problems. What point? Whoa, somebody asked, how do you account for the rule of thirds when you look down? Well, you think three-dimensionally, my good man, or woman, or whoever. You do this. You kind of think like this. you think in perspective. Like, see this head right here? That's your perspective line at the angle the head is facing. So, of course, this is isometric perspective, so it's not really going to a vanishing point here. But look, here's my thirds, right there, extruded off the face. And you can do the same thing when it faces upwards. Of course, like I've done these before, so I can kind of visualize them. So it's pretty close to thirds just from freehanding it for me. Yeah, show that to me later, Rad Boots. It's something I want to consider if I do consider one of those. Honestly, like, if I can get enough people to support me, I would want to just spring for a Cintiq of some kind. Or, I think the other thing was, like, I was looking at the Huions, possibly. Keep this guy on screen. Basically, let's keep this guy on screen for the break. Okay, what time is it? Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T-minus 1 minute and 33 seconds.
Well then, I need to get up and stretch. And I would suggest other people do too, for those 5-minute breaks. Hydrate, stretch, hit the restroom. I mean, actually hit the restroom. Here, I'll put this guy into our next pose up here, in case the timer counts down before I get back. So the next pose is going to be, I don't know. Let's do an upwards head tilt. Try to maybe not one that's not so extreme. Actually, I think I better hold off on that until I can do a draw over this, a draw down what people can call it. Let's do another one of these at a slightly different angle. Maybe like something that's like almost close to profile, about like there. There. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit. Just gonna hit the restroom. You can get started when the timer starts. Okay, Google, set a timer for 25 minutes, 30 seconds.
Second timer for 25 minutes and 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
As a matter of fact, that 5-minute timer is up right now.
Okay, Google, how much time on second timer?
There's 24 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
Aren't you fancy? So we'll probably switch to another of the head types after this one, because I think it would be better to, if we were going to do an up tilt, it's better to show an actual head a little bit. But use the same construction tools of the Linus head. for when we get to that one. Oh wow, there's like 68 people watching. That's pretty cool. So if you guys like the classes and you like to support what I'm doing here, feel free to toss me a unspent Twitch Prime sub or sub or bits or whatever you got. Every little bit helps. But even just by being here, you're helping the stream. There's more people showing up to do this. Means more engagement with what we're doing, which is awesome. I'm curious about what kind of setups people are using to attend these classes. I've been like using my laptop and my iPad in other people's classes that teach through our Discord to sketch along and stuff whenever they do these kind of meaty class demo type sessions. Alright, thanks Raboots. I'll check it out later. The video of the XP pin stuttering they were talking about. See if anyone said anything in Discord chat, actually. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that playlist also, by the way, Hobo. It's a good choice. Yeah, the dual screen on the iPad, you can use it with Twitch, I'm guessing. That's what HG Cat is doing. In my case, I have an iPad, a 2018 iPad with like the Apple Pencil, and I think we're gonna move to the next step. All right, I'm gonna change the model that we're using real quick. Let's put on maybe one of the planar skulls, or one of these guys. Oh no, that might get a little confusing. Let's try. Yeah, one of the planar skulls would be good. This guy seems pretty good. Let's do him. It's $9 if you want to download him, but we can just spin this guy around for this. Alright, so try to break this down into a window's head. You can watch me for how I'm going to try to solve it, but try to solve it on your own too. So if you're looking to find that center line of the side plane with the head, you can use the jaw basically here. Mind you, this doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of try to approximate things. And learn what you've learned just now about how the window's head works to kind of build this. You're not doing a perfect skull or a perfect drawing of this thing. You're just kind of using it as something to riff off. Wrap this around here. I think it'll give me the brow line about. This one's a little tricky, actually. So I may have us go to a different model that might be better for this. But I'm going to try to do my best on this. Like, there's stuff in here that's kind of throwing me off a bit, I'm not going to lie. Up tilts are always tough. maybe something that'll help me is if I do this. Draw through it. It's here on the other side. Head up here. And I get kind of an approximation of the other jaw. This side of the jaw there, but this is off. And of course it would be off. Up tilts are tough to do, and I'm out of practice. Actually turned out better than I thought, but there were still problems with it. Let's put a little secret in there just for fun. I'm using iPad because since I bought it even for sketch animations, and the peanut made on Discord. You review my tilted handless elf walk. Yeah. There's some angle issues with the front plane of the face here that I don't like. Yeah. Turned out a little better than I thought it would though. Alright, let's change the model now to something more suitable. Maybe let's find another Loomis head. Pretty sure there's a Loomis head in here that I haven't used that we should probably make use of. Oh, here's one. And there's another one. No, I think that's... Is that the same one we're using? No, this is a different one. Oops. Okay. I better remember to add this one to the collection. This one has the side planes of the cheeks, you see. So there's going to be some weird warping on here because of how I zoomed in, but yeah, you see this? Look at that. There's a perspective line warping thing happening here. Look at that. See how the little perspective lines are going to a vanishing point up here? That might throw some people off. This would work better if I downloaded this into a 3D program. We can flatten it. Let's see if we get a better angle on this guy here. Oh, it's color coded too. Look at that. This one shows where the sides planes of the heads are chopped off, but I don't like how the jaw looks. The jaw looks kind of wonky to me. Let me bring this over on my screen here so I don't do anything wrong here. I think our best bet would be just to stick with the, because I don't like how that works. The camera angle. I think our best bet would be to stick with the one we just were doing. Or this guy, actually. This guy might actually work. Let's try this guy for a little while. Yeah, this one will be good for up tilts. Let's do that. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T-minus 14 minutes and 3 seconds.
Goody. Alright, we'll stick with this guy for several poses. For the rest of this block here. And also, even if the perspective on this is warping or something, that doesn't mean you have to follow it. You can use the side plane of the head as your anchor, as your guide for how this perspective and the rest of the face works. spot here that just shows like a bit of the up tilt. I'm going to maybe start this one off a little strangely. I'm going to start off with kind of the sailboat shape to contain what I'm drawing a bit. Yeah, it was a little bit of an extreme up tilt. I think extreme up tilts might be a bit much to start with, so I'll try to tone these down because people are still wrapping their heads around the mechanics of this guy. Even me, because I'm going back to basics and being rusty. So even after this class finishes, I would advise people to keep practicing these for the rest of the evening on their own. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
10 minutes and 38 seconds to go.
So for this one, I actually didn't draw the underside of the chin. I kind of flattened it out a bit, but whatever. Move on to the next one. We're going to be doing this a little bit quicker now. So this guy's going to be tilted downward a little bit. So I want people to start getting a good rhythm with constructing these guys. So after those really tough up tilt ones, oh man, that one was really tough. I think this one feels a lot easier. Remember, we're not going for perfection here, we're just using these to kind of riff off. So, let's try a straight on one now, on this guy. Remember to use the rules of the Loomis head construction on this. Start with a circle, like so. Chop off the sides of the circle. I'm blowing them in, blowing off what I chop off inwards a little bit to make it more like a skull. Cut across the halfway line. Drop a center line through it. Approximate about where the brow is, where the hairline is, somewhere around there-ish. Then you have your first third. Another way to find the third is to, I think the nose is usually a little bit above the bottom line here, a bit. Also, these aren't exact tools, like, they don't have to be completely perfect, they just have to be enough to get you in the ballpark. Like these need to be functional tools that you can kind of modify as you go, as you get used to them. So I'm going to maybe add a little bit of, maybe some of this. Maybe I'll recall a little bit of the Riley method right now, and I will add some indications of the ears here. And the Riley method has a sweep that goes down from the top of the ear across the cheek like that to the chin. Or no, it goes like about to here. About where the mouth is. Corner of the mouth. Like that. I think it's a little low. Right here. And then there's a second line that goes about here. It goes down to like part of the chin. About here-ish, I believe. Doing a quick inventory for myself of other things I know about the head right now. Oh, yeah, that mouth is way too low. It's about here-ish, I think. What's throwing it off is probably the cheek, the side of the jaw a little low. Maybe like this. Change it to this kind of really extreme down tilt angle here. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T minus 4 minutes and 43 seconds.
Nice. Alright, we should have time enough for like at least 2 more poses. We're going to start powering through these a little bit quicker. People are getting used to the method. For the next few blocks we're going to do. So I see a lot of familiar faces returning here, and I see some newcomers. If you are new and this is your first session, please say so in the Twitch chat. Just type the word new in Twitch chat for me. If this is your first session of this. So did anyone here come from Twitch? Do you have access to our Discord currently? Say I need Discord in chat. Say I need Discord if you currently do not have access to the Discord. Alright, I'll give you a link to our Discord. Let's see here. Limit. Alright. So I've just linked a invite link to our Discord in chat. You will have to check the rules section before you can post, but you can come to the voice chat room that I'm in where I'm doing this. The Discord is a hangout place where you can come to study art and talk shop with other art beginners, intermediates, and professionals in animation, concept art, illustration, and various other artistic professions. I'm from the animation industry myself. I've worked in TV and on a feature animated short that won an Oscar last year. And I am looking to improve my skills so I can get higher paying gigs in the future. And that's why I'm teaching all of you. Because you are all my secret weapon, basically, as a study tool, study aid. In order for me to get better, I need a study group to study with. And that is what the Discord is for. And the point of teaching classes like this is for me to get better at the stuff that I'm teaching. So these are kind of like a glorified study group for me as much as it is for all of you. This is where I'm going to be. I do have a lot of me time where I get a lot of practice and study on my own. But then I try to regurgitate the things that I'm studying whenever I come here. Like today I didn't have very much time to do class prep, but usually I spend about 3 to 5 hours of study before the class actually begins. So then I'm good and warmed up and ready to go. And often I'll do prep on the day before too. So Wednesday is going to be a gesture drawing, figure drawing class, like we had last week. It'll involve quick sketch and story-driven drawing and action poses and stuff. Shorter timed poses for people to draw. Friday is going to be more kind of formulaic figure drawing, kind of like a figure drawing version of what we're doing here with the head drawing. It's going to also incorporate some anatomy stuff too. Okay, Google. Alright. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
Done. 5 minutes added to your timer.
Alright, I think this head is working pretty good for our study purposes. And again, the point is not to exactly copy these, although you can initially if you're not used to using these. I'm just kind of using them as a reference point to kind of rekindle what I know about the Loomis heads. Alright, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. The vibe music stopped. Yes, it did. I think it was YouTube doing the "Are you still here?" thing, which is annoying. Did the Wednesday character design class end? Justy, it technically did not. Wednesday is going to be gesture and figure drawing, and it's going to be stuff that will help you with your character design. Like, you'll be exercising character design skills in that class. But it's going to involve a lot of gestural figure drawing and stuff. You'll be able to use character. One of the things I'm going to have people doing is actually taking their own characters and drawing them in different quick sketch poses, and which will help you work out the character design stuff. And I'll have us doing different exercises like silhouette exercises and so on. My classes that I teach are Pacific time classes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. They usually run around 2 to 3 hours. Today's will be 3 hours. Saturday is at 2:30 p.m. instead of the weekday 5:30 p.m. Saturday, I'm turning into an action storyboard / animation class that will be focused on making cool ass action oriented animation. Someone mentioned in Discord, are you still thinking of teaching a little bit of Blender? When I start learning more Blender, I will be happy to teach it. Oof. Yeah, this guy is looking really wonky here. This guy. The placement of the features is all messed up. Bugs the heck out of me. I think it's because somehow the chin got a little bit lower than it should be. That's what's going on. So I think the next donation goal I should reach for should maybe be like a 16-inch drawing display. It'd be nice and portable, and I can have a backup drawing tablet basically. And it won't be too expensive. And then I'm probably going to need to make a donation goal of another monitor or something. I'll figure that out. Because I kind of need a dual screen setup or a triple screen setup. I'll figure that out though. The first things first should be the new drawing tablet display. Because then I can use it on the second computer and on my laptop. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
2 seconds left.
Oh, wow. Okay, Google, stop. Yeah. No, I mean, you're gonna inevitably see me make a lot of mistakes doing these. I'm doing these for an art workout as much as the two more half-hour sessions after this one finishes. I'll probably go a little overtime to go over some stuff, or take a look at people's submissions in the Discord chat. So I would recommend supplementing what you're doing here with like Stan Prokopinko's Proko channel YouTube content. They have a lot of excellent head demonstrations and explanations of what we're doing here. I'd play them on stream, but that would be a little unethical. But they should be There we go. Alright. Sorry, I had the microphone turned off. Sorry about that. That's okay. All I was talking about is we were switching the head model that we're drawing. I actually wanted to mention, to make it easier on myself, I think I should set up, well, I think one of the things I should look at in the future is to get like a stream deck. Alright, so I think that's good enough for that pose. Let's try straight on. Just kind of orient ourselves to this guy. So this guy is a preview of a head that we'll be using not this week, but in 2 weeks we will be drawing this guy. This is a simple Asaro head versus the complex Asaro head. Measurements are a little cockeyed. I gotta keep that in mind on this thing. Like I seem to be making things a little bit cockeyed on this screen for some reason. Might be the angle that I'm sitting at, where I'm used to compensating things a certain way. So I do feel kind of awkward because I'm coming back to this rusty, but there's going to be times when you have to come back to things rusty. You shouldn't beat yourself up. Don't go like, oh, I'm such a lazy artist, I'm so awful. No, I had to take time off in order to work on building the computer that I'm currently doing my art stuff on. And it took time for me to set up stuff. It's all in the interest of making a better workflow and a better stream broadcasting workflow, so that I can teach these classes better and so I can study more effectively and improve and do my art and animation more effectively. There's times when you have to spend time setting up your workspace instead of drawing. But yeah, if you notice that something is going off with me, like if you can't hear me in Twitch, but you can hear me in Discord, yeah, try to catch my attention. I'm going to be trying to pay attention to stream chat in Twitch in case something goes awry with like audio or whatever. That's how I found out about that issue. Alright, I think I'm overdrawing this guy a little bit, so I'm going to move on to the next one. There we go. Little down tilt there. Okay, so, okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 17 minutes and 41 seconds remaining.
Nice. We got plenty of time to get acquainted with this guy. I think I actually may bust out the Asaro head, the classic complex Asaro head as a point of reference. Because, like, even though we're not going to be necessarily drawing that guy today, all of these heads that we're looking at right now, you start them with a Loomis head, like what we're doing now. So it might be a good idea to get exposed to them from that standpoint. And people who have been in my previous sessions, you'll be able to maybe practice some of that. Maybe practice some of those a little bit. Like I'm gonna maybe see if I can insert just a little bit, dip my toes back in, putting a little bit of simple Asaro head stuff in here. Nothing huge, just like a few things that I remember from it last time I studied it. Like that triple bridge forehead kind of thing. What's going on here? I'm not gonna go hugely detailed with it. I just wanna just kind of do a little inventory of it. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Have we done a profile with this guy yet? I don't think we have. Let's do profile. Huh. 4:40 a.m., huh? Wow. Yeah, don't push yourself. You shouldn't be staying up this late just for my classes. You can watch them on replay later on my YouTube page. Like we have some European time zone people that... Okay, Google, what time is it in France?
The time in France is 4:40 a.m.
Yep. Well, Europe, European time. We have a surprising number of European artists in our Discord community. Trying to get more of them to teach classes at European hours. So I am trying to grow my Twitch audience. I am trying to get like donations and stuff. But the big thing that I can't ever lose sight of is the reason I'm doing this is so that I can get better. So that I can get higher paying jobs and stuff working in the animation and possibly the games industry. So even when I get into the game, when I get back into the games and animation industry, I'm still going to be doing this. I'm may not do it as much, depending on what I'm doing. But I still want to do these because this is like almost kind of a fallback thing, and a secret weapon I can use to get mileage and practice and study in kind of a free art university atmosphere that I've helped build through Ethan Becker's Discord and over the Twitch audience that I'm building for these. I'm going to gradually evolve the way I teach, the way I study, the way I share information, the more I learn. Stuff will start getting more advanced, but we will never, ever lose sight of of restudying the basics. No matter how advanced you get, you always will go back to the basics over and over again to refresh yourself. I'm not that advanced. I'm not that good. That's why I'm doing this, because I want to get good. This is like back to art school for me. Eating my art veggies and potatoes, meat potatoes, and veggies and vitamins. How much time left on timer?
11 minutes and 43 seconds left.
Alright, let's maybe try an up tilt. It's a good angle on this guy. This is pretty good, I would say. And if you notice, I'm adding a little bit more into the simplest arrowhead. So I'm going to try to like kind of cheat things a bit. In terms of like, we are redoing the basics again, but I'm also going to be doing stuff like what we're doing right now. Like we've got the simplest arrowhead on screen, so I'm doing simplest arrowhead on stuff on top of the Loomis heads that we're doing. But I start with the Loomis head. Good way to find the angle of the side plane of the head is look at the side of the brow here and the top of the ear, and then you can angle it. You can find the front angle right here with the brow right there. And the side angle to the top of the brow and the top of the ear, and the plane at the front of the head. You can find your angles that way. It's kind of what I've done. So you should start to like slowly wrap your head around this stuff, and you should exercise your ability to kind of guesstimate where stuff is. Things look off and a little funky, maybe try adjusting them a bit. But you're going to be doing lots of these, so you have lots of chances to try them again and again and again. The goal here is to get the act of making them to start to become really intuitive. And I think I didn't make the bottom one. Yeah, I think I could have made this bigger. Like that. trying to do a little bit of the Loomis, to me the Asaro basic head here. Let's maybe do skulls next, I think. Skulls, and then maybe we'll try the complex Asaro head as a finisher. Just to get people exposed to some of what we're going to be doing. Like this guy right here is what we're going to be practicing week 3. Rough. That's okay. Let's move on. Alright, new pose. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
There's 7 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
Let's do like a basic 3/4. Say we have about 3 poses left in this particular block. So yeah, I want you to fill up page after page of these Loomis heads throughout this week. Use the Loomis books I linked. I'll link them again. You can use the drawing aid tools. You should check out the Stan Proco videos on Loomis heads. So that'll also be a huge help. Someone mentioned that they'd like to see me draw a Loomis head on top of a photo. I'll try to remember to do that before this session ends, but that might be also something to do. I previously assigned stuff like that for homework. The homework, mind you, is just a suggestion of something to kind of orient yourself on, like if you can't think of anything else to do for digesting this stuff, you can fall back on it. You're not being graded, and if you want to hold yourself to the quota of it, that's up to you. But I usually assign about like 3 assignments and 1 to 3 pages per assignment. And you can also exceed all that stuff and come up with your own exercises that go above and beyond what I suggest. Weird proportions here. This chin looks a little off, but yeah, it is a little bottom heavy. Whoops. Is there a reason why you always curve the chin outwards a bit? It's because how the head is, basically. It's a rhythm line. Like, I mean, you could technically like just draw straight lines for this stuff if you wanted to, like something like this. But like an elegant way of like thinking about the side planes of the face instead of like a straight line like that is this S curve that kind of implies some of the cheekbone a bit. And that kind of divot there gives you more space to work with if you're going to do a face. Like, there's going to be a bulge for the two cylinder off that at some point. Kind of build off that a little easier. Alright, new pose. Let's see here, what's a good one? Let's try an extreme down tilt, but straight on. hope that didn't mess anything up. Oh, good, it did not. There we go. So how do people like the format of the stream right now of this portrait mode drawing space on the left? Is it too cramped, or is it just like the right size to see my demos? Or because I kind of like having a large amount of space for both. For like the reference wall, I have a pretty large amount of space for the demo, and that works a little bit better in portrait mode also than it does like with like two things in landscape mode. Hairline be about here-ish, I want to say. Set this extra line here to kind of mark it a bit more. Maybe get some of the indications of the features on that, maybe. The bottom of the nose would be there. Things do look a little strange coming from this front view. It's sort of going in perspective here if I do that. It's kind of funky. Let's get it a little bit more isometric and it's proportional measurements. Going by the rule of thirds for like the front of the plane of the face, you can almost make it like a box or a face mask. Okay, Google, stop. Alrighty. Okay, Google, set timer 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Starting now.
Yeah, that last one was pretty tricky. Okay, so I think we'll be on our last session for this. So one of these Asara heads we will use. One of those three. Whichever one's kind of lit the best. I do rather like this one. Very lovely. Pretty lights. And clear plane changes when it changes angles, which is real nice for anyone who's studying the actual Asara head. I may insert a little bit of Asara head stuff into mine, but yeah, I want to get a physical version of this puppy. And you guys can help me make that donation goal. If you contribute to my donation drive on this page here, I'll copy paste the link in chat for my donation drive so I can get a lovely Asara head as a study tool and a tool to photograph or film live for when I run my classes on head drawing when we get to Asara head stuff. And if I get an Asara head, you damn well better be sure I'm going to be using that thing extensively here. I might even run a bunch of marathon workshops studying from it, which I think would be really excellent. Yeah, I get this guy, I'm going to mount him on a tripod, get a lighting set up so I can photograph him. Or film him live and change positions and stuff. It's like a live version of what I'm doing with the Sketchfab stuff. But there he is. There's our boy. We're still on break now. I'll run a 60-second ad break, and I'm gonna get some water and stuff. Okay, Google, stop. Alright. This will be our last block of this lovely session. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, starting now.
Away we go. Let's start with the straight on. Any of you who have cheated and started early, that's fine. You can maybe draw another one of these. Or even, try to dip your toes into drawing some of the Asaro head features if you want. But again, we're doing Loomis heads. I'm going to try drawing a little bit of the Asaro head from this, but I'm sticking mainly to Loomis heads today. I do like the idea of dipping our toes back and forth and using these guys to draw the thing that we're trying to focus and study on each week, while also refreshing our knowledge of these guys. Next week we will be doing the human skull. I wanted to do some more of the skull. We did one thing of the skull today, but yeah, next week we will be doing skulls. That one should be a bit of a blast. I will probably do this. We will probably focus on skulls from various angles and so on. But I might do something like this. Okay, find the skull in this, or something like that for some of them. But we'll see. Depends what I think people might be ready for. It might be better to just use some really damn good images of skulls. I'm not worried about including like all the Asaro head stuff in here. Even when I'm doing like an actual Asaro head study, depending on the length of what I'm doing in it, I'm not necessarily going to include everything in it. If you're doing a super long Asaro head study though, which we will get to in the future, then you're going to want to clock in the time and effort to pretty much do every plane. I'm just dipping my toes back into the Asaro head a little bit to refresh my knowledge of it a little. I'm not trying to make it perfect, I'm just dipping my toes in what some of the planes do on this thing, without really copying it. Throughout the week I may actually spend the time to draw some more from this. Like what we do in this class, you should go above and beyond on your own. You're going to do it. Like tomorrow I may decide to do some Asaro head practice. Now that I'm getting warmed up from doing the linguses that we've been doing today. So that's a good start. I'll just add a little C curve for the neck here. And we'll move on to the next. Let's see here. Let's get maybe this is a good angle. We'll do that. Willie Q says in Discord chat, not gonna lie, this is making my drawing skills sharp as hell. Yeah, well, I mean that's the point. This is what you would refer to as sharpening the axe. There's a proverb that goes, there's two woodsmen. One of them sharpened his axe, and the other one just spent all his time chopping down trees. The one who spent several hours sharpening his axe before he went chopping the trees wound up chopping way more trees than the one who spent all the time chopping trees because he had a dull axe and he couldn't get as many trees felled. So what we're doing here is going to save you. It's going to sharpen your skills and sharpen your axe to be able to handle things like your art commissions, your animation, your storyboarding, your comic work, your illustrations. This is your art gym time. Kind of reorient yourself and recenter yourself. That's how I'm going to be running all my classes from now on. a Saturday animation class will involve a lot of drawing in the class, and it will cover quite a bit of homework too, and I'll be doing like some critique things. But I want to do a lot of analysis of existing animation, which will involve a lot of class drawing, like making kind of gesture drawing poses of the animation we're looking at, or drawings of the characters or things like that. We might even I might dip more into like Walt Stanchfield type stuff. Walt Stanchfield was a guy who taught figure drawing at Cal Arts and at Disney for many years. And he's got a lot of figure drawing notes and drawing for animation notes that I actually want to dip more into in the future. And we'll probably make time, we will definitely make time for that in the Wednesday class. Also, I want to find some ways to integrate that into what we do in the Saturday classes. Our goal in the Saturday classes is to push people to make regular, challenging action animation. And even like small exercises that build up to the challenging stuff too. But if you've ever seen WebGen animation, or if you've seen shows like Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like that's the kind of stuff we're going to be aiming for to actually do ourselves in my animation class. I'm not very good at doing that kind of stuff. That's why I want to teach it, because it's going to give me and all of you homework. And the good thing is I have plenty of resources to use as study fodder. I have plenty of peers from the industry that I can call upon for feedback on my stuff and suggestions of how to improve the classes. And we may have some super special guest lecturers. I'm not going to say who just yet, but I've mentioned some very interesting people that might be coming who are action storyboard artists and directors who might be swinging by my animation class or in a special scheduled one-shot workshop or talk or like Q&A lecture or something in the future. So that'll be fun. Alright, so next pose, whoops, zoomed out a bit. Look at that. Okay, draw this. Alright. We've done a profile with the ability of this profile in the SR head before doing the other cookie angles. Jumped a little bit ahead of myself here. really strange how we have so many European. I want to find out why that is. Maybe it's Europe. I don't know. I don't know why we tend to have a great deal of European time zone people in our Discord. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just wondering why that would be. Like, what kind of weird demographic thing has happened to cause that. Maybe it's just because Europe, taken altogether, is a really big place, and then from there it's like confirmation bias. It's weird because Ethan Becker is in, he's based in the West Coast like I am. I would think I would get, I deliberately kind of like tried to set these classes to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time so that people who are like just getting off work can jump in on these. Get your artwork out in just after work or something. Alright, let's do another angle. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer? Should be about 10 minutes.
You've got 12 minutes and 24 seconds to go.
Cool. Alright, so we already got like one of those angles. Let's maybe do this guy. I have some additional upgrades I want to put in this machine, in addition to the, well, I want to get a new monitor, in addition to a drawing tablet. Actually, maybe 2 new monitors if possible in the future. I want to put another M.2 drive in it, maybe a 2 terabyte one, if I can go for it. If I can find one for a good price and good performance. I've got a 6 terabyte serial hard drive coming that I can use for backup and bulk storage. That one I might actually be putting into a NAS server at some point, because I actually want to maybe make one of those eventually. NAS servers, for those who don't know, those are like basically backup and streaming servers you can make for yourself. You can DIY them, or you can buy pre-made ones. Like this old computer I have, that I'm going to be using as a secondary art computer after I get on the tablet. This one could basically be retired and turned into a NAS server at some point in the future. But NAS servers are used for backups mainly. But I mean, like, you can turn them into like a Plex home media server. Like if you have a bunch of Blu-ray rips that you want to play videos of, for example, you can basically stream your own Netflix from anywhere, like anywhere in the world, honestly. Like as long as you have the ability to log into your server remotely. You basically have your own Netflix that you've made of the movies that you own, or whatever else that you're going to be using. So I'm getting a little dipping my toes here and there into a little bit of a Riley method, a little bit of a Sorrowhead. Just recombining things I've studied previously over the last few weeks. And the name of the game here is repetition, and so you want to kind of it's a lot of information to take in. So So you kind of want to walk yourself back through it and take it off in little chunks. And refresh it in little chunks. Where the rubber meets the road, though, is whatever you're going to be using this stuff for. Like, if you're doing your art commissions or your animation work, that's where you got to bring everything to bear. And this is sharpening you up, so your visual ability and dexterity will be in pretty decent tune for when you like sit down to do storyboards or something. From doing this and from doing some of the other exercises that I'm planning throughout this week. The gesture drawing class is especially going to be essential for a lot of people too, I think. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer? Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T minus 7 minutes and 48 seconds.
Nice. Alright, new head pose. Where are we going to go with this one? That's a nice one. Let's do that one. What are you using for reference? Is it the model you made yourself or is it available online? I didn't make this model myself. I wish I did. Might be actually kind of a good idea for me to do that. Is maybe like a Blender exercise to make an Asaro head in Blender. But this guy is free from Sketchfab, or the actual model itself. You can probably, I think you have to pay for the actual model itself. But if you want to view the preview on Sketchfab to draw from and rotate around, you can do that. There's some of them that are free to download from Sketchfab. When I get done with this little session, I'll link the Sketchfab collection again in chat. That has like the head drawing, the head reference that I'm reference library that I'm building of Sketchfab stuff. Look at that, I'm freestyling it a bit more. There's a little bit of the simple Asaro head in here. There's a little bit of the complex Asaro head in here. There's a little bit of the skull drawing stuff that I've done previously in here. Just little bits and pieces that are just like kind of being rekindled in my muscle memory. And it's not even that good. It's just little bits and pieces of things I've studied starting to come together a little bit. And the more I do this, the more that they will come together, and the quicker they'll come together. There's no shortcut to any of this. Like you just gotta put in the mileage, and it has to be effective mileage. Like you can't, if you keep practicing the same bad habit, you'll just reinforce the bad habit. You gotta be strategic about what you practice. Which is what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to be strategic about what we practice together here. And what I suggest that people practice throughout the week. And I'm going to slowly evolve that over time as I learn through trial and error what practice methods work better and better for what my goals are. And what would help people in general more as well. This is still a Loomis head. I just kind of built some of the Asaro head stuff in it. Wish I had my Asaro head demos from last week handy, because some of them turned out pretty decent. These guys are pretty crude because I didn't warm up drawing Asaro heads beforehand. You kind of have to really warm up with several false starts on Asara heads before you start getting somewhere with them. But that's okay. I'll probably do some more of these tomorrow. I'll probably try to refresh my knowledge a little bit more before I get started with my walk cycle. Stuff that I need to do. We're continually working on that throughout the week because I want to finish that and use that as a warm-up basically for some action animation I want to get started on, which I will show hopefully if I get that done in time for my Saturday class. Because I'm in touch with some action animation show people that I can get feedback from. So I want to strike while the iron is hot on that. I might get some of my action stuff started tomorrow after I get a good amount of headway into my walk cycle stuff. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
There's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Alright, let's try one more pose. It's like let's just close with like a really simple one. Like that, right there. Or, no, that's not a good angle. Let's try just like a good basic angle. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of lopsided errors and stuff I'm making. I mean, that's to be expected. Coming back rusty after only drawing for about 15 minutes yesterday. Like I have the 15-minute rule, even on the days that I don't get much time to draw. I try to spend at least 15 minutes drawing, which I did. I did a little bit. All I did was I hooked up my Cintiq for about 15 minutes and did a bunch of boxing quick small head studies for about 15 minutes. Because I had other priorities. I was mainly just doing it just to see if the Cintiq would work on the new computer. After I get done with this, I have a bunch of boxes I have to clean up. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit. I'm starting to get back in the groove a little. I might even schedule a impromptu, timed head pose workshop tomorrow or something for people who want a little extra mileage in this. Either that or a figure workshop. But when I do those are generally not streamed to Twitch. Those are done through the Discord. And they're just an excuse to draw timed poses. I won't really do any kind of prep for it or lectures. Although I will probably do it in a room where people can talk on voice, and then we can give each other feedback and talk shop and stuff. As long as it doesn't get too rowdy. My personal goal right now is that... Okay, Google, stop. I'm just going to keep drawing into this. My personal goal right now is I want to focus on action animation and action storyboarding. So the Saturday class is going to be a big deal. It's going to be stuff for that. And I'm going to be slowly evolving what I do in my classes to kind of bend things in that direction. But grounding things with fundamentals like this class, for example, is really, really important, I think. It's that whole sharpening the axe thing. Let's use sports photos for figure reference. Way ahead of you there. We have a growing folder of sports reference photos. Ooh, that reminds me, I need to see if the gesture drawing app, if I need to buy another copy of that to use on this computer, or if I can copy paste the app onto the new computer from the old without having to pay another dime. All right. So, come to the end of the session. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to give one last plug. Well, first off, I'm going to link the collection I put together here again. So that people can use that. I'll link that in Discord and in Twitch now. Then in addition to that, there is the Save Loomis books, which have all the Andrew Loomis stuff. Then in addition to that, there is my Ko-fi page. Ko-fi page for donations, and hopefully I can make this goal in the next couple of weeks or so. So I'd really like to get a hold of that thing before we get to the Asaro Heads section this semester, and I can get a good amount of mileage drawing that thing before I teach it. But yeah, that's the donation page if you want to support the class to improve the quality of the classes and also tip the instructor and stuff. Entirely optional. Support links up here. Any little bit helps. You can also subscribe to me on Twitch. So shoot me a Twitch Prime sub if you have not spent your monthly sub yet and you'd like a cute little Astropug emoticon. If you have some spare bits to throw my way, you can do that. Or if you'd just like to straight up subscribe to me on Twitch. But yeah, every little bit helps. Oh, thank you, Stoat256. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Yeah, I'll see if there's any additional questions I can answer before I end the stream. I'm also going to be troubleshooting this week ways to improve my stream quality and whatnot. But yeah, be sure to donate if you feel that you would really like to support. Oh, thank you, Blue Nest, for the 100 bits. Thank you very much. That's neat. Oh, there's a Hype Train thing. Hype Train level 1. Sub, gift, or use bits to get to the next level. Interesting. Okay, well, if you want to spend your Twitch Prime sub for a Hype Train thing, that would be the time. I'm going to be making additional emoticons for the different subscription tiers in my. Oh, thank you, Dashobo for the Twitch Prime sub. It's much appreciated. But yeah, if you give me a donation on my Ko-fi page, I will be able to thank you personally for your donation as well. Is there some tips to fit eyes, nose, mouth, and face better? Yeah, that's partially covered in the later stuff we're going to be getting into. That will be something that we get more into when we get into the simplified Asaro Head, and when we get into the Riley method. We're going to be going back through all this stuff again. I'm going to maybe try to find like adjacent to the stuff that we have already covered, there is a bunch of stuff on like studying how features work. But and placement of features is essential to that. Like even more important than learning how to draw the features like the eyes and the nose and the mouth is properly placing them. And I'm out of practice in that right now, so I need to re-study that. But the stuff that we're doing, thank you, Captain Fire, for the 100 bits. Yes. Dada dada. Very much nice. But yeah, the methods that we're going over are methods that will help you place features in the right spots and use basically like kind of a roadmap for the face. The Riley method, which is, I think that's week 4. It's either week 4 or week 5. I have to double check that. But Riley method heads are these guys. Here, see if we can find some good examples. Riley method heads are like this. Or like these rhythm lines that you see underneath this really well rendered head. Riley methods are, and you can distort it to even make like caricatures, like this Bill Nye caricature here in the Proco video. There's the Riley method is a method of breaking down the human head into these kind of like easy to memorize rhythmical lines for constructing the face. And it's like a GPS system for the head, basically. We're going to be getting into that like around I think week 5 of this. So consider this week maybe week 2 of semester. Consider this week 1 of semester 2, where we're repeating the stuff that we learned previously, but we're also going to be trying to build on top of what we studied previously a little bit more. And that's the way you should study. You will continually refresh your knowledge and practice of this stuff over and over again. And I'm going to over and over again as well. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. Let's take a quick look at like the drawings I did today, and I'd like to see some of your drawings in the Discord chat too before we go. Some people have posted a few of them already. Let's maybe see if we can get some of them on screen. In there, I see. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try putting the features in, you can do that too. This is nice. Handled the tricky angles pretty nicely. Be interested in finding out which of these people attended my classes previously. Have any of you attended me since the last time we like now that we're lapping back around to doing the Loom set again? How many of you here have attended every single class since then? Any of you who are still left in chat for the evening? Say it in Twitch chat. Say, just say whatever. Say, I've attended since the last semester, or whatever. You can say when you started to attend. Oh yeah, somebody posted, Hobo and some other people I think posted some really interesting stuff earlier in the Discord. Let's see here, there's some other things. Oh yeah, there's something about the XP pen there. There was this that looked interesting from Jet about perspective stuff. And some other interesting notes. There was something else that was posted up here, if I recall, that seemed interesting. Nope. Yeah, definitely check that out. I'm going to take a peek at that after the class. Yeah, let's take a look at some other of these drawings. Yeah, this is a good start. There's issues you're wrestling with for sure. But I mean, do more of these and you'll be able to wrap your head around these more. Yeah, do lots of these throughout the week. So I'm not going to give a written suggestion. I'm not going to give a written suggestion of the homework this week, but I want you to ideally do basically what we were doing today with Loomis heads. Find any means that you can to practice the Loomis heads. Use the Spacedad models. Use photo reference. Try inventing Loomis heads out of memory. Use the Loomis books that were linked earlier in chat that show how to do the Loomis heads. Copy his heads, not necessarily even his Loomis heads, but just like heads that he draws. Because he draws a lot of different fully drawn heads from different angles in that book. Try copying those. And you can even start with the Loomis head and then add the features the way he adds them. Like you can go above and beyond just doing a Loomis head. You can try adding features on them, like this kind of stuff. Maybe like take some cool artists that you've seen on Instagram or on ArtStation and try doing studies, like doing studies of their work using the Loomis heads. Like here, let me find one. Matt Rhodes. Actually, I want to show this. Very, very important because he helped. The way he does stuff has kind of shaped how I've been approaching this. Approaching teaching this stuff. So he's really freaking awesome. He's an art director. He's worked at like BioWare and other places over the years, all the way back to like the first Mass Effect game. He's really freaking awesome, and you can. What's cool is like his a lot of the like this is a massive body of work he's got on his ArtStation. By the way, just tons and tons of stuff. You can click through these randomly, and you will find like. Let's maybe find. See if we can find one of the ones where he put like a process demo in it. Sometimes he embeds videos in them. Sometimes he shows his thumbnails of his process down below. I think it's the more recent stuff he did that with this series. But he's got like about like $2,000 worth of like art study material to go through that he's uploaded for free. It's crazy. Like you could seriously do studies from his stuff. Let me see if I can find some good examples of what I'm talking about. With he uses Loomis heads a lot in his stuff, and he actually uses Loomis and other forms of construction. Look, there's a Loomis head right there. Loomis head. Trying to find some of the more constructed examples he's done. Yeah, those are Loomis heads right there. And notice how he works out like the gesture line and the skeleton, the bone. You can find videos of him making these. He always like works up his figure layer by layer when he does these. Yeah, those are actually really simplistic kind of Loomis heads. Some of them you can see the side plane that he made on them, but not all of them. Oh, actually, well. But yeah, check him out. There's much better examples of Loomis heads in his stuff if you dig through it further. You can even for studies you could take like a scene like this, draw over the top of it, and draw a Loomis head on it. Maybe study the rest of the figure while you're at it too. Like draw over studies on Matt Rhodes would be really good. Another thing, I'm probably not going to open it up too much because there's a lot of nudes in it, is he's got this one section in here called Sharpening the Axe, which is where I got the Sharpening the Axe thing from. Because there's a section in here that is like a collection of a bunch of his like figure drawing studies and other things. I would highly recommend taking a peek at that. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it in here, it's weird. It's one of the mature section ones that are blurred out. Oh, here, I can find it by Googling it, actually. Rose. Here we go. Alright, yeah, this is there's mature content here, so I'm not going to scroll too far. But there's tons and tons. Let's maybe zoom this out actually, so that I don't know. Actually, let me find a section in here that doesn't have nudes, so that I can show this off without getting in trouble. But this is a massive section. There are nudes in it. I will link it to view at your own leisure. Oops. But the sheer scope and scale of like the amount of practice he puts in is really impressive. Like, this is just a fraction of the kind of stuff that he does outside of work to improve his skills. And there's plenty of ideas in here for the kinds of practice and study that you can do on your own. And you can even copy and study from his stuff too. I'm going to be doing more of that in the near future as well. But yeah, definitely check out his stuff. And also also keep an eye out on ArtStation. ArtStation is always fantastic for finding cool ass artists, like just digging through the front page and finding stuff that stands out to you is interesting. And you can go down rabbit holes and finding more about particular artists' work. And study from it, draw over it, try to copy it. If they have like process demos, you can learn things from their process. ArtStation is a fantastic place to visit and learn from. Yeah. Cool. We're going to end the stream very shortly. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for the Prime subs. Let me just check my coffee to see if anyone donated so I can thank them on stream. Nope. Okay, that's cool. All right, so we're gonna call the stream now. Let's see. Thank you all for coming, and you made it to the end.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Thank you all.